freedom is the right to tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
But I want to get the language right.
The big government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! Bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of media?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
My name is S.M. Gibson. This is Anti-Media Radio. If you've been watching the debates tonight, do you ever feel just like completely giving up? Like, is there any point to any of this? Everything's a lie. Everything we've been told is a lie. What are we going to do to change it? Why not let Trump just become president? Why not let everything just completely implode on itself? Because that's the fastest way to it. Let's just torch the field and wait for next season to come. That's how sometimes when you're watching these debates, you start to feel like there's no point. But let me tell you, there is an absolute point. Because if it's not you fighting, how can you expect someone else to pick up your torch? We have to keep fighting. We have to keep at this every day. We have to keep informed. And that is why we're here at Anti-Media and Anti-Media Radio. Joined in the studio tonight is our wonderful producer, Mr. Shannon Madden. Shannon, how are you?
42-3.
42-3. And with Mr. Kevin Knight. Kevin, how are you?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here with you fine fellas.
Okay, so
all Trump, all the time, baby.
The big Rubio push started happening as well. For those of you who missed the debates, the big theater that we were presented with and been presented.
No,
with
it's like
tonight.
2 and 3 minutes of theater. It's like Trump versus anybody else, and then the rest of it. And it really is. I mean, it's been typical, very typical. Everybody's still kind of, recanting the same crap that they've said the last debate, the debate before that, except for Trump. And Trump has nothing to say except, I hate you, and why are you treating me like this, and I disrespect you, and I can't believe that you did this, and 42-3. Yeah, that was my favorite one right there. That was the Bobby Heenan moment. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Screaming at Jeb.
Yeah.
Just screaming. These are my poll numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute absurdity.
That's it. I mean, really, I have no debate. I have no argument. 42-3.
That's it.
Well, and Trump's known for doing some of that, having some short one-line zingers without a lot of background or not even a lot of substance. But they get attention. They get crowd reactions, which we saw Rand get a lot before we came to get ready. He was picking up some steam. I was glad to see actually he came out swinging for the fences apparently.
Well, and it's so refreshing to me as a Alabama Crimson Tide college football fan to see somebody end a conversation like that. 42-3, and then that's it. It's over with.
That's it. I mean, there was no, that's like the last brain cell right there.
No substance, no let's dive into this a little bit further. Let me tell you what my plan is. Let me tell you what now. 42-3.
But that's Trump supporters, is it not?
And strangely enough, it is about right. 42-3. Last time I checked. Carson's holding in around the 20s, depending on what poll you see. But
Rubio started getting his push, though. The establishment's moving with their guy, trying to make him look strong in foreign policy. Him and John Kasich were both just straight up advocating for World War III. World War III. They're okay with this. John Kasich's like, no, Chris Christie with the no-fly zone. What do you think no-fly zone means? They're advocating for World War III.
Why Chris Christie doesn't have his own NBC crime drama right now is beyond me. I mean, NBC could be making billions with that.
I think that'll happen. I could see that. With Ice-T?
Yeah, Ice-T. Ice-T could actually be the criminal this time.
I think he makes a good cop. Rubio or Trump, who's going to get through? Kevin, what do you think?
I definitely think Trump's going to get through.
Really? So you think?
I think, I do think
the establishment call.
Yeah, I do. He's got so many people that are backing him, and it's still we've got time. It's still not election's not going to be tomorrow, so we've still got time for Trump. We've still not seen Trump's numbers.
But what's the other alternative? What's the other alternative?
Ben Carson.
There is none. I mean, that's why it's up to us to.
And it's funny too because he's not the GOP's handpicked candidate. I think we can all safely agree.
Oh, obviously.
The money's been behind Rubio. Some people would argue Cruz. I mean, clearly it's been behind Rubio, and a lot of the rhetoric, a lot of the people that circle around him and the big fancy steak dinners that he gets to go to, that really signifies it's where the money's been all along. And the money is definitely, they backed the wrong pony because Trump is backing Trump. And we're not just talking about financially. I mean, the guy is his own biggest supporter.
Oh, yes, he firmly believes everything he says.
Absolutely, and he's not really saying anything at all except for a lot of hate and a lot of vitriol. We get a lot of people stirred up. Once he gets
fascism, he is promoting fascism.
And if he gets into office, do you really honestly believe that we're going to see anything different? I mean, we've taken the corporate controlled politicians out of the equation now, and now we've gone straight to the corporate.
We have, and Trump, people, I keep hearing, I'm sure you guys have heard plenty of it, that one of his main reasons that people give him so much support is that he can't be bought. He's using his own money.
He's the person that buys people.
Right, that's well and good and all.
And it's also ludicrous to believe that he's not accepting any kind of, I believe there's been quite a few PACs set up with in his name.
Oh, of course, while he bashes.
Yeah, he's making money hand over fist.
He doesn't do anything he wouldn't make money doing.
No, and he's an opportunist. Trump's an opportunist, and he's a salesman. He will tell you that.
Yeah.
And why people think that suddenly that a lifelong liberal who's been a conservative for the past 3 or 4 years is actually not just a mirage or another large sales pitch. It completely escapes me, and I think it's a reminder that a lot of people that are voting, some of Trump's heaviest supporters are people that are absolutely new to politics, and that's not necessarily. I mean, and I know that he's got plenty of people that have been.
I think it was Obama was similar because it was a candidate that stirred people's emotions. Maybe one drew a positive emotion, one maybe another draws a very hateful and aggressive emotion.
Right,
but it's still drawing a very strong emotion, this emotional pull and this emotional tie. And I think you're getting very uninformed, misinformed voters out there voting who don't vote because, it's like watching theater and they're drawn into the circus.
Perfect example. And I know it's kind of taboo to bring up previous shows. The last show that we had.
Oh, this is taboo?
It's one of those,
Well, we break them.
I think it's on Vince McMahon's list.
Let's break all the taboos there are then.
Absolutely. I really, I don't know. I burn out, man. And you know, the thing is, there's no end in sight. We still have how many days till the election?
Yeah.
God, that's way too many days to be in here, build a wall, and let's go to war.
That's it. That's it.
And it's not just from him, though. The let's go to war is being echoed all across the stage, except for Rand Paul, and I'm surprised he even made it to this one.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, that message is, as far as at least the overall kind of leave people alone message.
Who does that not respond to?
You know, people love to be involved in a story. They love
because it's time for America to show how great of a country we are
by killing
and that's by war. That's why
that's
by
it.
aggression. Why is being aggressive? I mean, you know, I know this is just a simple philosophical question, but why do we need to show that type of power to be in charge? And why do we need to be in charge to begin with?
Oh, because our interests are the only ones that matter. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? That's how they look at it.
That's surprising. I actually was listening to Carson make a little bit of that same point, to my surprise, that definitely that we needed to be taking care of Americans here before we get into taking care of other countries. I know that's easy to say, but he actually spoke a little more about it than I kind of expected he would. And I think I've noticed that with a lot of the candidates now are getting into, we saw a couple of them talking about Scotty, talking about the fact that, and I say Scotty because Shannon, I don't think you had showed up yet, but listen to these guys take on more of an anti-war message and need to at least a more responsible questioning foreign policy. They all seem to be bashing hand over foot the mess in Iraq and the way that, of course, the president's dealt with it, all while failing to really emphasize the fact that previous administrations set a lot of it up.
They're all advocating overthrowing Assad tonight and repeating the exact same behavior. So they can sit there and say, oh, Iraq was a mistake, this, that, and the other, and then they turn around and say, but we need to get rid of Assad.
And that's exactly
That's crazy.
It is. It's exactly what it's double classic Orwellian doublespeak, and it's exactly what the point Rand made, is that everybody on the stage is saying this, advocating for a more responsible foreign policy, and on the other hand, completely advocating, like you said, Scott, World War III. And completely fine with it. In fact, Rand actually said, if you want World War III and Christie here's your candidate.
I think there were more than just Chris Christie up on that stage you could vote for if you want World War III.
Oh, sure, right. Well, he was just taking this opportunity to get back at Christie for some of his...
Well, and you can also look across the aisle to the Democrats and see little Miss let's go to World War III. And has already got the battle planned and secured funding for it, too, I might add.
Did you see the commercial during the GOP debate tonight? It's important that I say and mention what this commercial was ran during.
No, did not see it. I came in a little late.
A new movie, I believe, is being directed by Michael Bay. It looks like there's some pretty... famous and successful
of Transformers and Bad Boys fame.
See, I didn't even know that.
Director.
A movie about Benghazi in an election season when everybody ties Hillary Clinton to that event, making this heroic statement and like she's some vile murderer. The propaganda machine is in full effect. As I have said over and over and over, there will be a Republican president. The propaganda machine is in full effect. I want to make sure to remind everybody to join us live every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific at www.ucy.tv/TAMR. And you can always catch our replays on YouTube by searching for Anti-Media Radio. I want to bring on a guest for the evening one of our wonderful journalists. We have her on quite a bit, Miss Claire Burnish. Claire, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I can't complain.
Hey, Miss Claire, how you doing this evening?
I'm starting to get over my cold, so I'm doing better.
Adjusting
How are you?
Adjusting to the climate.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's hard to get used to clouds all the time when you were used to sun all the time. So
Yeah, that is the weather of heaven out there. It really is.
Hello, Miss Claire. This is Kevin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Tell your cat we said hello as well. I think we heard him or her in the background, maybe. Was that a cat? Did I
Yeah.
hear a cat?
Cat's
So we
lives
said
matter.
hello.
So, Miss
Yeah.
Claire, what's going on in your world right now, story-wise? Are you as frustrated as I am? Are you as fed up as I am with everything right now?
I am. I've had a really bad day of it, actually. I've been so fed up with this, what's going on everywhere, you know, reading about all the kind of targeting of Muslims in the U.S. and even, you know, targeting of Black Lives Matter activists and this craziness, how, you know, people just really want to divide each other instead of kind of banding together and trying to make things better. It's really discouraging after a while.
You know, it doesn't seem like there's any banding together now. It's just complete division on all sides and all counts.
It really is.
And I think division is the greatest tool that the establishment has, is to keep us at our throats while they do what they want in the background. And it's important for, I think, everybody to know that going in.
I think it's their easiest tool. It's so easy once there's a division there. Once, you know, there's some sort of difference established between, you know, whatever us and them they're trying to dictate to us. Once there's the us versus them scenario, then people kind of take it from there. So really, the establishment doesn't have to do much to kind of make that happen. You know,
And it doesn't take much at all. I think that's kind of why a lot of America, when Barack Obama was elected, they were like, "Oh, we finally have celebrated a new America. We've progressed, we've moved forward." But on the other hand, I think there was a part of Obama that could be used by the establishment, because you can just, anything that was wrong, you can say race this, and use it as division. And then on the flip side, there's people out there that hated everything he said just because of his race. So I think it worked both ways.
yeah, it does. It really does. It blows my mind how, you know, people don't see what they're doing. Like, in my opinion, you know, looking at all the hate crimes in the country right now, that, you know, mosques have been firebombed and restaurants have been firebombed, and, you know, this just craziness going on. People don't see that they're kind of falling into the exact same trap that they say they don't want to happen to them. You know, they're doing the same kind of terroristic acts that they say they're scared of having come to this country, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like, you know, by attacking people this way, you're acting as the terrorists you claim to deplore. I mean, why don't people see this?
Well, you know, I do have to ask the question, because your article that's up on the antimedia.org right now, the military contractors congratulating themselves for driving war propaganda in 2016 election. It just kind of really underscores who they are, and the people that continue and try to perpetuate this division for their own financial gain and profits. You know, that is, I mean, just that's huge to me. That really is huge to me, that so many people make so much money off of American suffering.
Yes, they really do. I mean, this lobbying group called Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security is really, it's ex-military types, just old political officials and all sorts of people just, trying to perpetuate war for profit is really the goal of this group. And they're praising, their various candidates for falling into their agenda and perpetuating the war, saying we need, strong American engagement overseas. It's like, well, basically we need to make sure war keeps going on. It's ridiculous.
And it falls right in line with the Project for a New American Century, which I couldn't help but think about when earlier during the debates when Jeb brought up the fact that we needed to revitalize and reestablish and restructure the military. That's all I could think about was Project for a New American Century.
I thought the same thing when I was actually researching this. I thought the same thing.
And Rubio's campaigning with this slogan, basically this same thing too. They're just out in the open about it. That's the thing. They're out in the open about it. They
for some reason, it seems to escape people. Like, they say we need to make sure we take care of this problem, and we need to do this overseas and this overseas, and we can come together and, strike this terror group. And it's like, why are people so blind to what's going on here? It's just more military engagement for profit.
And what makes it even, I think, even more frustrating is, love or hate Rand Paul, whatever, he's at the end of the stage screaming at the end of it because he's just so frustrated that we funded ISIS. We're the reason ISIS exists. They want to start World War III. They want to create all these wars. He's saying this. We shouldn't be doing it. And everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, you're crazy. Go back to Kentucky.
Yeah, well,
as if they don't know and haven't heard already.
Exactly.
Yes. It's exactly right. The U.S. government basically fueled and created and actually wanted the rise of ISIS. And now we're supposed to be, fighting ISIS, but we're also trying to arm, Al-Qaeda groups that we were supposed to be fighting in the first place before the rise of ISIS. And just all of this, it's incredibly complicated, and it's frustrating to try to write about, but at the same time, it really just comes down to, as long as war is perpetuated, then the people in charge will be making tons and tons and tons of money. And that's what it's all about. They're
admitting on stage of the debate in front of the American people that the whole thing is basically about getting Assad out of power.
Yeah. And if they've got to go through Russia to do it, well...
Oh, yeah. And if they've got to go through Russia to do it, they will.
No-fly zone means.
But, even that comes down to the money and profit in oil. I mean, even getting Assad out of power, it comes down to being able to use the region and transport oil around the region. I mean, it all comes down to money.
Well, Trump is even coming out and saying, well, we need to have the oil. We need to take control of the oil. We're there. We might as well get something from it.
Why don't we just build a wall around the oil?
Right. He's been making that claim for a number of years.
I mean, really, you can solve so many things with a wall, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe we're looking at this whole Trump thing really, really just way, way different than we should.
Apparently, we're missing something because, as we mentioned before,
42-3.
42-3.
Cantwell and Molyneux both are now, and Alex Jones, of course, now is on the bandwagon for Trump. So apparently, we're all missing something.
The check he's sending out, apparently.
Oh, right, must be. Yeah.
Most importantly, Tom Brady is pulling for Donald Trump.
Oh my!
He has the hat.
Got to get me one of those hats.
Yeah, they're made in China.
That's the next stimulus project there. Free hats for everybody. Yeah. Free red hats.
Made in China.
So where do we go next, Claire? What's next? What's going to change?
It's a really good question. I have to wonder if anything is going to change. I'm writing about the kind of the hate crimes against the Muslims right now hopefully for tomorrow. And in doing so, I was looking back to what happened right after 9/11, and there was one single congressperson who dissented in the vote to go ahead and go to war after that happened, and she said we have to be careful not to become the evil we deplore. And I'm looking at what's going on right now, and we've done exactly that yet again, and it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, we're definitely we passed that threshold a long time ago as far as trying not to be the evil that we're fighting. Even the pictures from Abu Ghraib make that case very plain and clear.
We have to ask ourselves, though, do we really honestly believe that there is a candidate, Republican or Democrat, that would risk or face open war with Russia?
They say.
I mean, really, honestly. Or Iran, for that matter. I mean, let's be real.
I think because
we've heard both of those on.
I don't
on
know.
the podium.
I don't know. Part of me thinks because we lived through the likes of Lyndon Johnson, Nixon, Reagan, Carter, yeah.
Reagan,
Well, Bush
Reagan tore down
the wall. Well, the wall was coming down when Bush got there. So he had an easier path not to go to war with Russia than But Lyndon Johnson, think about that. That's crazy that he didn't go to war with them. So if those people avoided war with Russia, you would think that these lunatics would, but who knows? It's a different Russia.
I think we're at the point where they will do anything. I don't think they really care who they fight. I think there's this kind of boastful, arrogant attitude with the U.S. because we have such a strong military presence around the world. I mean, huge military presence around the world. I think they kind of have forgotten that we're spread really thin. And I think that they poke hornets' nests all over the world right now, and I think the hornets are getting pretty angry. It's a big mistake, but I don't think it's going to stop them.
No, and this is the debate also. And a lot of this, we know that a lot of times debate performances are known for saying things that don't necessarily pan out, or a lot of off the cuff, and a lot of this back and forth responding is trying to one up the other guy that just commented. So I wouldn't, as much as these guys are advocating World War III, I still would be a little bit surprised, not surprised to find out rather that they're doing it strictly because it's debate performance. They're trying to seem strong. A lot of people are pissed off about ISIS and a lot of fear in the country.
Yeah, but when it comes to bombing people, that's the one thing the government doesn't break their promises on.
Oh, no, they don't. But these guys don't represent the government either. These are,
they're all in the same boat. It's all part of the same swimming hole.
I won't disagree with that. But these guys, a debate candidate doesn't really have a lot of pull on the federal level right now.
It's a big scam. It's all rigged. It doesn't matter.
I agree with that. It is definitely rigged. And you can tell, on the debate tonight, I caught some of it, at least the audio of it, and you could hear I think it might have been Santorum talking about how the president coming into office he's now going to be a wartime president. It's like, well, aren't they always nowadays? I mean, haven't they been for years and years and years?
Well, technically, because they haven't declared war.
But they don't really have to do that anymore.
No, they haven't had
and they don't.
The UN resolutions seem to be the...
Who was it that said it? Ben Carson was talking about, I think Rand Paul even said this, declare war on ISIS, like go to Congress and have a declaration of war.
Rand's, he's kind of made that point a few times, that he doesn't prefer boots on the ground, but if we have to have boots on the ground.
It's a stupid idea. But at least, there's people advocating if you're going to fight somebody, at least, have it on paper as opposed to just you run the world and do what you want.
Yeah.
And do it so in a congressional manner.
Technically speaking, right now, if this is like considered part of the war on terror, after they granted Bush the power to invade basically whomever he wanted to after 9/11, really that's kind of still in effect. So there is no necessary declaration of war after that.
Obama
they granted him
7 or 8
sweeping powers.
Well, not just that, but the NDAA here, I think it's been when it first really got on people's radar when they were, first from the inclusion of American citizens with the right to be detained. That's when
that was brought up in the debate tonight.
It wasn't. I missed that part.
Yeah, Ted Cruz of all people.
Wow.
Who actually,
I know.
He supported the
Rubio was going off on the other candidates who didn't support the NDAA. He said they don't want to fund the troops, they don't want a bigger military, they want us all blown up, blah blah blah. And Ted Cruz of all people, which surprised me more than anything, comes back with the reason I didn't support the NDAA is because it says I told the people of Texas I wouldn't want them detained for no reason. Yeah, and Rubio was just kind of like, well, whatever.
Wasn't really impressed with that, right? Well, of course, that's not high on his radar. The defending the rights of Americans and all Americans.
Is it on any of their radar?
No, of course not. I'd say maybe a little bit on Rand's, more so than anybody else's.
Yeah.
Well, that the NDAA with the being able to detain whomever they want to is kind of brings up a little bit of a frightening prospect with all the xenophobia going on right now.
They would use it. They would use it.
If the right person was in office, the case, I tell you, if Donald Trump got in office, I could see him making the case and us reliving the internment of the Japanese all over again. There's so many people that are, and I won't say because they didn't live in that period, but so many people are ignorant about the intricacies.
But see, here's the thing. It would end up
an all-out civil war at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be more dangerous. I don't think that would actually happen.
No, and nor do I think the government would go strictly after Muslims.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
everybody would suddenly be a collaborator.
Why stop there? I mean, there's so many other brown and darker skin out there.
It just wouldn't ever happen. I can't.
No, it wouldn't happen either.
I can't envision that ever actually happening.
And I used to say I could never envision that Donald Trump would be the president of the United States.
I'll give you that one.
That's
Trump
the
himself
slippery
actually
slope we're down now. I've learned to not expect.
You got a
or
point.
trust
You got a point.
But Trump himself actually, I did advocate some of the earlier debates, essentially rounding people up, and compared it to ICE doing so. For
I've heard him say it.
Make the case, right? So if we were to believe, if we were to believe that Trump was a man of his word and he did follow, right? That's what I say. If we were to believe.
It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. Why are we even having this conversation? Why do we live in a world where we have to have a conversation about a man that's running for president that we're talking about maybe or maybe not, he may be rounding people up? Why are we even having this debate? That is a huge problem.
Sign of the times, definitely.
That's an understatement.
No.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. This is so Orwellian. It's like such a dystopic atmosphere right now. I find myself shaking my head and laughing, but being like almost having tears in my eyes about how frightening it's become. I'm not afraid. It's just like a terrifying commentary on where we are as a society, that we're actually having these conversations, that there are actual people who are publicly saying, let's round up this group of people. That should not be happening. We should be more advanced than that in 2015.
We're not, obviously.
Not by far. It seems as if we're going in reverse.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think the horde mentality has been going on for quite some time, though. I don't think this is anything different. It's just being steered in a different direction.
I think it's more blatant. Wouldn't you say that's probably true?
More blatant?
I don't know.
I can't see how much more blatant.
It's more blatant. It's more obvious to us.
Just look at what we just.
Maybe it's because of my age. Maybe it's because of my age and me seeing things. But for me, Obama, especially, was just like everybody was brainwashed. Everybody was like, you can't say anything bad about this at all.
And now that we have Trump as our front runner, now we get to see exactly how badly brainwashed they are.
But on the other side, completely, I would think.
Is it really?
Well, it's funny,
No, it's not. They're not any different at all.
And they think, the Republicans and the Democrats and the hardcore conservatives and the hardcore liberals all think that they're fighting a good fight and battling at each other, this, that, and the other, and the whole thing's a joke.
It's all Vince McMahon. That's it. The whole thing could be being scripted by Vince McMahon. He could be the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain.
And
that's what we're talking about.
As conspiratorial as that sounds, Carol Quigley, Dr. Carol Quigley, who Bill Clinton himself cites as one of his mentors, talked about and laid this out exactly in his, not Proofs of a Conspiracy, his Tragedy and Hope, which Ron Paul's mentioned, that this is the means in which the establishment chooses to operate. And this is not his assumption. This is him actually having access to the personal records of a couple different organizations. But Dr. Carol Quigley, he has basically laid it out that this would be, it's purposefully, and we're seeing that a little bit of Edward Bernays' social construction, and seeing what his propaganda machine turned out and educated as far as those that would use that source. But yeah, we're seeing division, and we're seeing people completely opinions change with the wind. but still holding true and following, still behind. Every day I hear people quoting Trump. Every single day.
And for a lot of people too, I think they hear these broad, huge terms of people that run the world or do this and do that. When you look at the 6 major corporations that run the world, okay, at which point they want to get them down to 4 and get them down to 2 and get them down to 1 eventually. But these 6 major corporations, you look at their top 10 stockholders, they're all banks. Every single one of them is a bank. We're talking about banks run the world.
And speaking of corporations, on a really, total non sequitur here, but Dow and DuPont merged. That's kind of terrifying too.
Oh, wow, that's like mega corporations.
That's like Walmart, man.
Make the world really red, just like your logo.
That's
real life evil corp from Mr. Robot, man.
I think that every time I see that their logo of the world, the globe, being covered by red paint, I always thought that the imagery seemed a little bit, I don't know, just odd. But now it seems a lot more. Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty funny.
Reminds me of the old Mr. Show skit about Globo Kim. They always had all of their products and all of their shows on Mr. Show were Globo Kim, and they had the one skit about their what is it, the pansexual, non-gender friendly pit pat. Oh man, go YouTube that sometime. It is hilarious, and they kind of parodize is exactly what we're talking about right now. That's just wow. That's big news. But then again, I mean, Trump's on TV. Why? But the whole world is shut down right now.
Boom, 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 boom. So where we're living at.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Here's the deal. If the crazy man that's saying build the wall doesn't become the president, which that's great news. The alternatives aren't that much different.
Kind of lame, yeah.
Yeah, and even further than that, now that he has set this kind of, nadir of a bar for society, even as bad as whoever ends up being elected this time, if it's not him, he's already set the bar so low that next election that comes around, imagine how bad it's going to be next time.
Kanye West.
Is Kanye really that bad?
Let's go full idiocracy.
Yes, exactly. What I was saying.
Let's go full idiocracy.
Is Kanye any worse than Donald Trump? He doesn't have near as much money.
He hadn't been as good as he ever was since the college dropout. That Kanye can be my president.
Okay, I'll give you the college dropout.
But this other, I'm not having. We're debating having Kanye West as the president. That's where we're at.
And if he
I said, I think I'm going to have to build that bubble house at the floor of the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian is the first lady. Wow.
Why not? Why not go there? Why not?
She looked great in a Bria Wang gown. Not saying that Michelle.
Well, at least then a lot of people would follow politics.
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
Look at how many more people are following the quote-unquote elections right now that Trump is running.
Look at Trump's wife and look at Kim Kardashian. I mean,
it's all plastic. It's all fake. It doesn't matter.
Levels. One's up
this is politics as tabloid, in my opinion.
It sells.
We're hosed. We've been hoodwinked.
Hosed in different area codes.
I mean, is there any point even going on? Is there?
No. Let's go ahead.
Vote for Trump.
For anti-media, vote for Trump. 42-3. We're out.
Oh my goodness, Claire.
Yes.
Where do we go from here, dear?
I'm not sure. I hate to even guess.
Well, for right now, we're going to try to go on to some more local news and talk about some very interesting things. If you would like to hear all the wonderful, amazing things that have happened in Birmingham recently, Ms. Claire, Shannon, give us a go.
Well, what had happened was Here in the great city of Birmingham, Alabama, this is actually starting to pick up on the national news feeds because it really is a bizarre story. Our mayor, William Bell, who's been rather popular as of late, a lot of new developments, a lot of new things happening in Birmingham. A lot of money is being pumped into construction and revitalization of downtown area. William Bell was at the council meeting, and him and another councilman.
This was today.
Around
11 a.m.
And just a normal, average, regular council meeting, talking about stop signs and kids playing in the street, that sort of thing. Those kids. Well, he got into a little bit of a conversation in a back room that's kind of off to the side of council chambers. Now, bear in mind, the council is in session. Media's there. You have citizens are there. This is a council meeting. Suddenly, you hear somebody going, whoa, whoa, and you hear a bunch of screaming going off camera. There's actually the local news stations happen to be there. I'm sure it's all over the internet right now. I think I picked it up on one of the local stations here, the Fox affiliate. Basically, just got into a little bit of an altercation that left both of them with bruises and cuts, and one, I believe the mayor has a crushed or strained vocal cords from somebody snatching him up.
First thing I heard is that William Bell got choked out this morning by a city councilman.
City council member Marcus Lundy, who's actually, I think he's new to the council or relatively new to the council. He and Mayor Bell apparently got into an altercation that sent both of them to the hospital, both of them pressing charges against one another. And in a strange twist of events, the city council is standing behind Councilman Lundy for obviously Game of Thrones type reasons as far as people getting promotions and certain considerations. Here's the strange part about this story, because I have to tell this because our Claire, you live in what city now? Cincinnati.
Cincinnati for the time being.
Cincinnati is a very large city. I think we can all agree that. Now, let's say the mayor of Cincinnati is out one night, kind of in a rough part of town, in transit to go to his home. He has two sworn police officers from Cincinnati that are escorting him. They are actually paid police officers whose job is specifically security detail for the mayor. All right? Mm-hmm. The three of them are out in a big old, blacked out Suburban, driving through the hood, and they see, it looks to be shots fired on a car. All right? They, as the story goes, proceeded to roll through the intersection after they witnessed this and called this in to the patrol units that were patrolling the area for them to go pick it up, because their utmost concern is the safety of the mayor. All right, so let's say that the people that were firing at the car began to chase the mayor and his security detail, firing shots at them. Let's say that this ended in an interstate crash. Two of the people that were originally shooting got shot themselves. Luckily, they survived, or unluckily, I don't know, depending on how you look at it. I wouldn't like to see anybody get killed for anything. And let's say that the third person that was in the car was given charges of three charges of attempted murder and firing into an occupied vehicle. And then let's say that person. So far, if this happened in Cincinnati, don't you think that would make national headlines, that something like that would happen to the mayor?
I would most certainly think so, yes.
That happened to Mayor William Bell in Birmingham in 2012. Here is the strange part of this story, and you can all check this out through AL.com archives. In 2014, the person that was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, firing into an occupied vehicle, pled guilty to a 1 misdemeanor count of firing into a unoccupied vehicle and was given time served. The other 2 people that were shot, I can't find any records of online. Can't even find their names. That happened.
42-3.
Okay, I'm speechless.
Yeah, this happened in our own backyard. And see, everybody's talking about this little skirmish that William Bell had here. William Bell is hood, y'all.
Oh, he certainly is. And this is a man that took over for a man that's sitting in prison.
And he's taking all of the glory for the actual good that he has done to Birmingham.
Larry Langford that's sitting in prison
Larry Langford became a good politician because the FBI was camped out at his office in Jefferson County Commission. He got out of there. It was getting too hot. Came over to the city of Birmingham and actually was doing business the right way. And William Bell, who has never had an original thought in his head his whole political career here in Birmingham that I've seen since day one when he was given the keys to the kingdom when Arrington left office. That was hilarious. He went from that stumbling, bumbling idiot to the smooth-talking career politician who just got in a fight with a council member, and both of them...
I think it should be noted, too, and for whatever this is worth, William Bell is the president of the National Black Mayors Association, I believe.
Yes, he is.
But, something where, it's, kind of a big deal nationally. So it's, it's not just... He's just some rinky-dink
I wish I had Mercutio Southall sitting here with me.
Yeah, I know.
So do you have any theories about what's really going on here?
Well, I mean, I've got plenty of theories because I've had a long time to think about it. But you are uninitiated to the story based on the information that I've just given you, without double checking, fact checking all of what I've just told you, which is all true. What's your assessment on it? Outside of looking in.
I have to wonder what the mayor would have been doing in a bad neighborhood in the first place. I have to wonder why people were... I don't know. I have so many questions I don't even know where to start, to tell you the truth.
I didn't live here in the city at the time. I was...
I did, because that was huge. And the thing
I didn't.
really,
so I'll say this: I wasn't here when it happened. So all I've heard is just kind of like, all this back end stuff.
Birmingham is the largest city in Alabama. We're neck and neck with Huntsville right now, but we are still the largest city in Alabama. Wouldn't that make national news just about anywhere else in a city this size?
Okay, what was the...
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
What's the deal? Okay, what's the rumor with the infidelity?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I heard. That there was he had a girlfriend involved, and there was another guy, like her husband or something. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff.
Okay.
What's surprising?
This is what I was told all this, but I don't know if it's
I
true.
haven't seen anything about that. I'm just relying on what I've actually have substantiated news reports from.
Mine
and actual, matters of public record, which actually there's not a whole lot of public record about the incident that I just talked about. So, now there's a headhunt as far as trying to get him out of the mayor's office. The city council president here, Jonathan Austin, has been begging and pleading to be president. Please let me be mayor. Please let me be mayor. And now he's got his chance, so we'll see how that works out. If this whole thing pans out, because both Councilmember Lundy and Mayor Bell are pressing charges against one another, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. What is it going to be like football? But both of them get thrown flags, so they get one against the other.
Do you know what the moral? Here's the moral of everything that you just got done talking about. We talked about the presidential elections and the federal government. Now we've been sitting here talking about local government, very localized in a city, not a state, anything, just a city. Government everywhere is just some crazy people doing some crazy things. We are screwed if we allow the government to control our lives.
We paid for that blacked out Suburban. We paid for that fight between the two of them, and we paid for the facilities that they got to fight in. We paid for the police that came down and investigated it. And really, And this is just on a local level. We're seeing it everywhere, all across the United States. And of course, I know both of y'all had to catch the little story about the town, some little tiny town that banned solar panels because they were absorbing energy from the sun.
That was that, dude. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was actually. It's amazing how many times I've seen this shared, and that really, ironically, is not the reason that they had banned it, and so few people. And I think it speaks to the way that a lot of people get their news and how false or bad or disinformation gets spread so easily. And I'm sure it would with a clickbait title. But people don't realize that if they had read the article that town had actually already approved 3 of these particular solar farms. And despite city councils don't vote down plans like this based on stupid statements by 3 individuals about the sun stealing all the energy. But there was complaints. In fact, a lady was there that had a petition on behalf of a lot of other people who were concerned because the city council was actually going to change the zoning of the area from residential to commercial, which is for homeowners, anybody that is aware that what kind of stuff that entails, not only just higher taxes, but next thing you know, you have businesses, not just solar businesses, but businesses of any kind, other businesses that can open up right next to your home. So, they've already had 3, so they obviously weren't necessarily opposed to solar panels. But I think it's funny that that's the same that...
And here's where I'm going with that, though, is that when I was discussing this article with somebody and, of course, immediately laughed it off, that person looked at me with a straight face and said, well, I don't know why they don't consider that because, there is a certain amount of energy. And I'm like, really? It really is. It's like the same thing as talking to somebody who tries to extol the virtues of what Donald Trump as president is going to do for us. This is more.
I literally just had a facepalm moment.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Imagine what it was like when it was right in front of your face. Oh, my God.
Hello?
Area code 405. Welcome to Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name and where you were calling from tonight.
My name is Jacob, and I'm calling from Norman, Oklahoma.
Jacob from Norman, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
What is on your mind this evening?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What is on your mind this evening?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw the number on Facebook. I don't know what this is all about. I just like your...
about Alabama Crimson Tide football?
Oh, I guess I wasn't prepared for this shit.
That's all good.
Hey, you're calling from Norman, man. Come on, represent.
Where'd you see the link at? Where'd you see it posted at? Just out of curiosity, do you remember? Caller.
Looks like we lost Jacob from Norman, but that's okay.
I think the football talk.
Yeah, it'll be all right. We've only got a few minutes here. So, Claire, what are some big stories that you've seen coming up that you think have big implications for everything?
You're asking a lot there. I think, I think one of the things that we can't forget about is Turkey's involvement with ISIS. I think that's going to be ultimately what drives everything that has to do with our military involvement there and the West military involvement there and Russia's military involvement with ISIS. Turkey is kind of the key to everything, in my opinion. And I think the connection between ISIS oil and arms is going to be proven to be directly involved with Erdogan's government. That's what I think.
And that reminded me too. It was mentioned by, I think it was John Kasich tonight or something. He was talking about Turkey and Saudi Arabia and how he had this bright idea of how Saudi Arabia should lead a coalition of whatever, like 18 countries or something, to occupy Syria. Saudi Arabia to occupy. Like that was suggested.
Yeah, that will go well.
What's the plan? Just come in there for Saudi Arabia, start chopping heads off?
I guess. Why not?
You know, you mentioned.
Hey, oh, and congratulations! Everybody's been congratulating on Saudi Arabia allowing women to vote who recently voted in a monarchy. So, good luck with all that. That's voting in a.
Does their husband have to watch them while they vote?
Right.
Yeah. Advise them to make sure.
Voting in a monarchy. So, yeah.
You know, Claire, I don't know if did you see that? I thought was interesting that the Kurds are now going to be doing business with Turkey. Ironically, the Turkeys had a long fear that of the Kurds trying to carve out their own little area, autonomous region as they have already, but they're really with the Kurds trying to grab their own, set up their own country. Turkey's been kind of giving in some resistance, but now apparently the Kurds are going to be selling oil to Turkey. Which, of course, they control a lot of the oil fields that Iraq lost when when Baghdad actually fell, so I'm not surprised to see that. But I thought it was just interesting. It's another twist, another angle that nobody could ever predict. It just keeps getting in this web, spread out further and further.
Yeah. I just think I think it's important with Turkey to pay attention on all fronts, and particularly where the Russian jet was shot down. There are a number of very curious circumstances and events that have happened in that exact area, which seems to be where the kind of Turkey to ISIS and ISIS to Turkey oil pipeline kind of goes on. That's what it looks like.
It certainly seems like if something is going to kick off and escalate, it's going to happen right around that region with Turkey. And I think you're right. I don't think we've seen the last from the plane going down. And I don't think we've seen the last of an incident like that happening. I think something else is going to happen.
No, and then you have, American citizen journalist Serena Shim, who was, most likely killed because she sort of found that there was direct involvement in the region, Turkey arming ISIS and, non-governmental organizations being used to ship arms to ISIS and everything else. And she's not the only one that found that information, but she lost her life because of it. So I just think that's the region that we all need to be, kind of focused on and paying attention to, in my opinion.
I think that's a great point. That's what's so horrific. We're seeing journalists get killed for finding out the truth. Journalists getting killed for finding out the truth, for doing their job. And
on that note, I have to bring up that in the TPP, there looks like there might be provisions against investigative journalism. That could be a crime. So it's all being set up here.
I wouldn't doubt it. There's so many things in there that we're never going to realize that we're not going to be able to realize really the full depth of how they're going to impact us until maybe years down the road. Until arguably it'll be too late to do much about
it.
Yep. Some would argue that it's too late now, but it's not. It's within us.
We have to.
Yeah. We can. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you so much for calling in tonight, Claire. It's been a fantastic show. It's been fantastic having you on, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Definitely. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Yes, good night, Claire. So you know what? Despite all this nonsense, despite all this theater, despite all this rhetoric, get out there. Share this information with people. Share the truth. Share what's going on in the world. The nonsense has to end. Just because they tell you the sky is green all day long, it doesn't make the sky green. You know what the truth is. Kevin, Shannon, thank y'all so much.
Later, Gator.
Peace out.
Anti-Media Radio, out.
I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.